Hi, welcome back to Marketing Without Social Media with Michelle. I'm so excited for another interview. I have the wonderful Laura Kendrick on to share all about her bundle that I was part of. And she's going to share the behind the scenes of not only just how this bundle went, but also how it came to be, how she put it together. And I love a behind the scenes. I love a deep dive. So we're going to get nerdy with it. We're going to find out how this happened and also hopefully give people who are considering hosting a bundle some ideas, some inspiration, and some like reality checks of what it goes into to putting together something like this. So before we get too far in, Laura, do you want to introduce yourself, share a little bit of what you do beyond obviously host this lovely bundle, and then we can get into the good stuff.
Of course. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Michelle. This
Yeah.
is so fun and so lovely, and I'm really looking forward to this. And thank you for being a part of the bundle. I mean, it was amazing. It was really fun. And it's actually, to be fair, it's kind of halfway through, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But hi, I'm Laura, to all the people who don't know me. I started out in this world as a copywriter, and then one day had a number of clients telling me how much strategy is not a given for most copywriters. And so I started to really fall into like, oh, wait, I actually have a strategy brain. And so at this time, I have actually transitioned a lot of my work into helping people figure out how to really put together a full marketing strategy when you're a solopreneur or a small team. So it's that full holistic plan and like how do all the pieces play off each other rather than just kind of piecemealing the expert things and crossing your fingers and hoping it all works. So that's where I'm at these days.
I love that. So tell me a bit more about how we create this marketing plan, because I have a feeling the bundle's going to fit in here a little bit. Is this like everywhere we show up online? Is this everything from like sales? Like what are we touching on here?
Yes, yes, and all the yeses. And that's the thing is that in this world where there's so much information, right? And there are such amazing experts in so many different places. So like if you want to find somebody who is an expert in just like Instagram stories, I bet there's somebody out there who's like, I can show you how to kill it in Instagram stories, right? Cool, amazing. I don't know that much specificity about Instagram stories. But the thing is if we're going after all those pieces, that's amazing. And those pieces might be doing an amazing job. But at the same point, it's like, where are they connecting and why? And also, is the whole thing coming together? Because more often than not, I hear from my peers, my students, my clients, my friends, that there are pieces missing or they're working too hard or they feel like they have to show up everywhere, or even so of like, this year I'm going to tackle Substack, and they're folding in another piece. And my question always falls to like, well, why? And there might be a really good reason, but too often we're crashing into these strategies without thinking about what is the long-term gain? Like, what are we after in doing this? And there can be a myriad of different reasons why you're doing something, but it's really important to have that line, or else you can end up with a really big outward platform and a business that is crumbling on the inside or causing you to crumble on the inside, which are equally not awesome. So
yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I start all of my sort of collaborative marketing strategy and everything I do with that same question of like, why are we doing this? Ultimately, what, yes, got you excited about it, but like, what's the outcome we're doing? Where does this fit in? So I love that we're both looking through this lens.
yeah.
So tell me why you did your bundle. Like, what prompted you to put this together?
It's really funny. It's kind of an odd thing. So this was my first bundle, but this has been, I think it's been a solid year of me hosting big collaborative visibility moves. And when I first did it, it had a really interesting why behind it that was unique and not the typical one. Like, yes, I was trying to grow my list, but at the time I was actually aimed at these very, very, very high ticket offers. Like I had shifted my entire business to make these huge, holistic, done for you copy and strategy offers where like if you wanted a launch, I wasn't just doing the sales page. We were mapping out the entire strategy, the entire marketing arc that went to the launch and even after the launch, and making sure all of the pieces were in play. So as you can imagine, the cost of something like that, you're unlikely to sell something like that to somebody on your email list that you don't know. So really the strategy for me behind these things was actually that I wanted the opportunity to get in rooms with people who could afford this, who could really, I don't know, like I just wanted bigger stages to stand on for a variety of reasons. But the catch is in order to capture those stages, I had to have an audience behind me. So in some ways, building this list was a bit of a vanity metric, not actually a I'm selling something metric at the time. But then also it was about cultivating the relationships with the people I was collaborating with. Now you fast forward a year and things have shifted in our personal lives where we're actually about to start homeschooling our children. And that's going to fall to me as the ex-teacher. The business has to pivot. So now the list growth is a little bit more traditional, where it is about the way that the business is pivoting. I'm going to have to play a little bit more of a numbers game versus before I could have, honestly, I could have 2 or 3 clients a year and have a great business. Now, 2 or 3 clients a year will be, filing for Chapter 11. Not going to work. So now it's got a little bit more of a traditional piece behind it. But there's also I still hold on to these little rebellious elements that I have when I attack things. So I don't like to I certainly listen to the experts, and the first time I do things, I try things and I kind of shift them just a little bit to be more comfortable. And then I like to learn as I go. And I folded in a lot of different pieces into this particular bundle that made it feel better for me, and I think better for you guys inside as well. And I've gotten feedback from some of the people so far, again, we're halfway through, who have actually kind of subscribed to the bundle. They have given some really positive feedback as well.
I love that. And I love how I really appreciate you being so honest about how that why shifted and how I think it really illustrates, I think, the power of these collaborative events and collaborations in general is that it's not just the email list growth. People get so sidetracked by it because it's shiny, but it's one of the very large number of benefits from doing these visibility pushes and these collaborations. So I love that you touched on that too.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've had the why. Tell us about what this bundle actually ended up being, how it kind of came together, and I want to hear about some of those rebellious twists that you ended up putting on it.
Yes. So this one came from, and here's an interesting thing. So I was actually having dinner with a friend of mine who was also actually in the bundle and is known for doing bundles in the outside space, Allison Hardy, if anybody knows. But we were having dinner in the fall, and I was talking to her, I was saying, I think I'm going to host my very first bundle. And she's been a part of my summits before. We've done collaborative work before. So we were chatting about it. And she was actually saying, she's, as kind of the queen of bundles in some ways, she's like, yeah, actually, sometimes the smaller bundles are the most powerful. And even though you don't get this massive list growth, the people who do come in are really solid and amazing, and the people you want on your list. I'm like, great. So this first one I did aim for a bit smaller, which was good. And also I actually kind of had a little bit of a awakening, unfortunately, midway through the bundle where I was like, oh, I should have shifted the positioning a little bit. Well, there was that. But it came from this place of, I was very inspired in the beginning half of the year by kind of, I don't know, all of my previous life had kind of folded in, and it had coalesced into these words that suddenly made sense to me. And this idea of really having this thing of hospitality in your business and in your marketing as well. And that word really kind of sung out to me. Yeah, I worked in restaurants. I managed them. I bartended. I waited tables throughout grad school. I was also a high school teacher. So that's all about how do you cater to the kids in a way that they'll actually pay attention and be supportive rather than disruptive. And then we all also work in this space where we're client facing in some capacity or another, and we have to have that customer journey kind of in mind. And so it all really folded into this idea of how can we actually build a business that's not just shouting at people, that's really supporting them and creating connection and relationships so that the marketing is easier, more long-term. The relationship, you are like fostering long-term buyers, people who stay in your ecosystem, people who refer you, people who leave great testimonials, like just all the things we all dream about is like, oh, wait, if we can start thinking even from the top of our marketing and all the way through of like, how do we meet people where they are and treat them like humans rather than a transaction? Like light bulbs. Like, so much easier.
I love it. I'm all about that too. I feel like the connection kind of over conversion has been a big theme for me of like, we need to have the relationships in order to make the sales. We can't prioritize both at the same time because people are people. We need to like know you, trust you, like you, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that makes tons of sense. Yeah. What was the identity crisis? you hinted at something fun. I want to hear about it.
So yeah, it was a little bit of an identity crisis. I like that. Well, so here's the thing: having been doing done for you work for so long, and especially at the higher end of done for you work, I really just needed to prove to the people that I was working with, like I didn't have to argue with them or like prove my point of like copy's important, strategy's important. They all knew. If you're investing that much money into this and you're really folding somebody in that deeply, you get it. Like I don't have to sell you on the importance of this. What I do have to sell you on is, oh, hey, I can do this. I'm smart and you like me, right? So like all of the things I had been doing were really just, honestly, they were like big ethereal thoughts and like giving people a taste of what's in my head, which is usually kind of amusing and odd. And most people really liked it. But then I started to realize, oh, wait, a lot of the content I'm putting out is not directly selling. It's really just kind of thought leadership content, which is great, wonderful, fun, where I live. And like, it's really fun, like having conversations is really great. But at the end of the day, when you're now starting to play a numbers game where you're launching like courses and group programs and things, well, you have to tap into things that are not just this ethereal. You have to bring it to like, no. Yes, I think like this. I am this human being, but also I can actually help you solve your problem. That was the like, oh, this hospitality and marketing, like, yeah, it is driving everything I'm doing, but it's still a little too ethereal in the way I'm talking about it. So it definitely gave me that like, okay, this is not going to, I knew it wasn't going to be a like out of the gate gangbuster, like list growth moment where, you know, suddenly it was like, wow, my email list grew by 10-fold. And that's okay. But it made me realize that next time, if we're going, if that's the goal to get that massive list growth, then the positioning needs to be a little bit tighter, a little bit more specific, and a little bit more driven towards actually like tools that solve this particular problem. So identity crisis, that's it.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about who you invited to be part of this bundle and who this bundle was for specifically.
Okay, so the for is much easier. It is for, I mean, so here's the thing. I actually, yes, this bundle, I very specifically invited people. I did not really open the door and like post it widely and say, I'm doing this thing. I actually don't think I opened the door to anyone. I think it was all like people I knew directly or somebody that somebody else who I knew was like, this is somebody you need to talk to. So, and the reason why is because my audience is established business owners. They are people who have been around the block. They know this stuff. Like they don't need your like a checklist that's just like, you know, this is what Instagram does. We know what Instagram does. We're wrestling with the demons of like, do we want to be there or not? Or is it making enough sales? Or is the engagement like we're high in the metrics and playing with the messaging and like really finessing things. And bundles are often seen as something that are for like people who are really new in the game. And I was a little afraid if I posted it in one of my networking groups, especially to like one in particular had just had like its annual turnover. So like there were a lot of new members who I didn't know. They didn't know me. They kind of didn't know the vibe yet. And so I didn't want to just like post it because I was nervous that I would get people who just didn't get it. And then I would get a bunch of tools that didn't serve this audience. So I was very, very meticulous in who I wanted to fold in because I didn't want it to be just for the new people in business because that's just not my particular audience.
Yeah, and that's important to know too. Like
Yeah.
it's really important if you want to get meaningful growth is to like be picky with who you're inviting and who it's
Yes.
for. Yeah.
Right. And especially if you are playing into like a really specific group of people and you're playing with a tool that that they're not used to seeing. Because most of us, like most of my people, they contribute to bundles.
Yeah.
They don't often consume them. Like they'll go in just because they're a part of it and they might see something that's like, oh yeah, but they're not usually flooding through the door of like, grab bagging all the bundles. They did that once upon a time, but they have the tools and now they're looking for the much, much deeper thing. So really it is like, I did see it as this is my way of connecting the right people, not as giving you the grab bag of free stuff that just helps you kind of like start your journey.
Yeah, I love that as a connection tool. I think that's such lovely positioning for it because it is kind of a warm introduction you're giving to these collaborators. You're saying like, hey, audience that I have, these people I think are doing interesting things. I trust them. I like them. Learn more about them. And you're also saying to their audiences like, hey, I've taken care of you. I've curated this group of people you should feel comfortable learning more from. So I think that's a nice way to put that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I approach all the things. Like I think about all the people involved, not just that transaction piece where it's, a lot of people are hosting bundles because they simply want their email list to be bigger, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But from my perspective, it's also a opportunity to get to know the people inside who are contributing better, to deepen those relationships, to collaborate more, to like, support them, like create my referral network. Like I'm somebody who loves to work with people. Like I firmly believe I am not an expert in all the things. And I love to be able to say when somebody comes to me and says, I need an expert in this, like my knowledge is broad enough where I can probably get them at least like a couple steps in. But once they go further than that, it's like, okay, I'm not your girl anymore. Like we gotta, and here are people who I trust and know who can really support this. And I love the idea of like the rising tide lifts all the ships, and we're all the ships. So if I can help raise that tide a little bit, rock on, let's do it. But it's not just about me growing my list, which so many bundles are. It's also about the people inside who I actually want them to consume what serves them. I don't want them to just rush in and then abandon it and then unsubscribe from everything, which not good. Or rush in, grab all the things from all the people, drop it in a Google Drive, and then ignore for the rest of their lives. Like that's also like nobody needs that digital clutter. Like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to call that the win-win-win vibes.
Yeah.
We're trying to make like everybody win out of this thing.
Yes. Yes. And I want to support all of you who contributed. I want you guys to grow your list with new people who you wouldn't have necessarily found, at least not right this second. So yeah. Like, yeah, I love that. The wins.
Okay, so tell me how you actually put this whole thing together, because I think you did a particularly good job of making it very seamless on my end as a collaborator.
Oh, thank God, because it did not feel seamless on my end in all the places.
Tell us behind the scenes. What happened on the back end?
I realized next time I need like an Asana situation or something like that, some kind of ClickUp, one of the things where it's templatized and I can like plug in dates and it'll remind me of things because yeah, I wanted you guys to feel super supported. I also baked in a ton of spaciousness. And this was inspired by two people. One, Karen Gillen, who was she's a business coach, and she was a interview on my very first summit. And that well, first of all, she's just amazing human being, but also she just kept talking about spaciousness, and it just like reverberated on my DNA. And it has been like one of the words that has guided me since that conversation, which I love moments like that. And then also one of the contributors in the bundle, Dallas Travers. So I love the way she does things as well. Honestly, she's a coach for coaches. And I swear, if I could, honestly, I think it's true of both of them. They have similar vibes. If I could have both of them like sitting on my shoulders all the time, every day and night, I would totally do it. Like, yes, please give me all the like good things. But both of them have inspired a lot of this and helped, Dallas in particular, helped guide this a little bit. But I invited a ton of spaciousness. So instead of doing this mad rush, which most bundles are, where there's get in the door. You have like 5 days to get all this stuff. It was open for an entire month.
Mm-hmm.
And it made it, first of all, so that I wasn't stressed about it. Like, honestly, I got so sick in the middle of it. I had the stomach flu and was down for a couple of days, and it went through my whole family. So there was a solid like week and a half that I was just checked out.
I have the summit host curse too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
But it was so amazing to have that time booked in because it didn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
I missed a few of the like reminder emails to the contributors that were like, oh, here's your link if you need anything. Okay, well, but you guys are grown adults. Everybody got it out. Great, wonderful. Things happened a little later than I wanted with some of the contributors, like the individual stuff, but it was fine. It was manageable. The other lovely thing though is it didn't put pressure on you guys to be like, I need you to send out an email between like Monday at 2 p.m. and Friday at like 11 a.m. inside of your crazy content schedule. Like, fit me in. It gave you the space to do it where you saw fit. Like, where does it work for you? And that always feels so much better for me when it's just like when people do that to me and it's like, oh, here's the grace of like, you do your thing. So I appreciated that a lot. And I feel like I got a lot of good feedback from that. But then also the doors are closed. You can't get in anymore. But the people who are inside, they have access for a whole another month now. And I sent out an email yesterday to all the people inside, actually telling them, because I've actually been pretty silent. Like the people who they signed up, they got a single email from me welcoming them, giving them the link, acknowledging that this is a thing. And then also saying, by the way, I'm going to leave you alone because, and I actually paused them in my, inside of Kit too. Like they got no emails from me for that month. I don't know. We'll find out if that was bad or good, but I wanted to make it so that if they were signing up for things, their inbox wasn't inundated with me too. So it was like, okay, just let all the stuff go. And then yesterday I sent them out an email because yesterday was the first day that the doors were closed, telling them, okay, now you're going to get a boatload of emails from me. It's, but my goal here is to actually highlight each individual person. So grabbing their actual gift that they're giving, going through, I was actually last night thinking about, I might actually make some little like Loom videos or some of them just to show them like what's inside because I want them, first of all, I want the people who signed up to make the decision as to whether or not this is the right thing for them, if they want it or if they don't want it. Because I also don't want them getting all these things they're never going to use. I just want them to get what serves them and connect with the right people. But I also know it's hard to sometimes decide that based on a little blurb in a bundle post and then maybe going to a landing page, which may like the variety of information behind that landing page is going to swing in a lot. Some people are going to give you a ton of information. Some aren't going to give you very much. Okay, well, let me help be this connector of like, do you actually want this? Will this serve you? Great, go get it. And also spaciously doing it. So they'll get like 1 or 2 a day so that they have the month. And so they don't necessarily have to be that person who's crashing in and like, oh my God, I need to get this right now.
I mean, I very much appreciate and was very drawn to that spaciousness kind of vibes behind your bundle. I too really like giving people long periods of time to actually consume the thing they signed up for. Like I'm known for giving 30, 60 days of free access to my summits because there's no point in rushing people into consuming stuff if it's not going to serve them. If it's naturally interesting, they'll make time for it with appropriate reminders. But I think there is something too about like that level of business owner, level of kind of responsibility there really seems to speak to people who want to take this stuff seriously. And I think there is kind of a level of business owner who really respects and appreciates the spaciousness, and the very new people just fall away because they need all the reminders and stuff. So like it kind of works to filter people in and out too, I find.
Yeah. And it's funny that you said that. And I appreciate hearing that because I'm actually queuing up. I'm actually just finishing recording for season 3 of my summit. And I'm shifting things there too to fold in much more spaciousness. Like every time I do it, there's more spaciousness, but this time there's even more. It's that same thing where it's 30 days access if you come in on day 1. And like thinking about the thing of the promoters and the not the promoters, but the people inside, they'll promote. Some of them will send out the email on like, second to last day. And if somebody signs up on that second to last day, they have almost no time to listen. And I hate that feeling too.
That feeling.
Yeah, when you're like, oh God, I only have 24 hours to listen to all these recordings and I have a full workday and I can't squeeze this in, but I want to hear this. Ugh. And I know the mentality behind it and I've heard it and I get it. The urgency, it has its time and place. I just don't know that it has its time and place for me.
And for this kind of thing, like, I think if there's true, real urgency of like, I'm a service provider, I have this one spot left, or I'm doing this promotion and it starts tomorrow, like, have that. Tell people that.
Yeah.
But with a summit, it's arbitrarily at those days. A bundle is arbitrarily set to those days. Right. So why not arbitrarily just give people more time so they can actually enjoy it?
Yes. And you know what's funny too is the last 2 times I've done my summit, somehow, like, and I picked the dates, not knowing anything, just in my own little, like, hermit hole. And then once I like launch it out loud, like somebody I know, at least one person I know personally, and then usually like 4 or 5 other people I know are all having summits on the exact same dates.
It happens.
And somehow it's like, oh my gosh, the first time it was, it was funny because I was in her summit. I was in that summit. It was Gemma Bonham Carter's AI summit. Was the exact same dates. It actually, because she's Canadian, she had it like Monday through Friday, but like Monday was Memorial Day in the US. So I had started mine on Tuesday and I was like, well, at least we're off by a day. And then she figured it out and like shifted hers. And I'm like, damn it, Gemma.
That's so funny.
But it feels, when those things are happening, it makes it feel loud to you. And as the person who's hosting it, even though this is a big bad world, and even though Gemma's platform is massive, there's still billions of people who don't know who she is. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
people who will happily consume both. Like there are people who will also be very happy for both. I feel like that is like a common problem I come up against with people being like, there's no perfect time. It's like, well, there was no perfect time to start your business, to offer the stuff you're doing. Like, why does
kids
this
to get married, to that? Like,
exactly.
There's never,
it's never perfect.
Yes, just go.
Like, just move on, let it go, just go.
Yes. But somehow folding in the spaciousness feels it like it's like, oh, doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Yeah,
exactly. I love it.
Something will pop up in that month and great, wonderful. And I don't like, it doesn't give me the stress point, even though the stress point is really unnecessary when it's at the exact same time as somebody else's, it still kind of erases that stress point. So I'm like, whatever. It's loud. Who cares? It won't be loud next week. It's fine.
Exactly. And I often find, like, I did an experiment with my last summit, just to go on a tangent, of like, I wonder if removing that urgency removes the need for people to upgrade into all access passes. I'm not like the biggest fan of an all access pass. So the other times I've done summits, I'm like, we just do it and then I'll launch something that makes sense. This time I'm like, let's do it. I'm going to give you a year access for a crazy low price, but you still can have 30 days for free. And I still had an enormous number of people take me up on that.
Interesting.
Even though there was no pressure, they could have access to buy that ongoing access pass for like a month after the summit ended. Like, the internal urgency is such a big thing we underestimate, especially with events. Like, people think you have to push all the buttons and the levers. And actually, people will very happily join in when it's interesting, appropriate, and timely to them. So, like, we don't need to layer all that stuff on. It can still work even without that extra, like, unnecessary urgency piece.
Yeah, I actually, with this bundle, I layered in, instead of trying to make money off of it right now, which is funny because I'm not even launching after it, because I'm kind of going right into the summit. Because this bundle is actually kind of 2 months long, right? And then the summit will be in May. So I'm like, I guess we're going to launch after that. I kind of, I don't know if I may rethink that next time, but we'll see. I actually put an altruistic part to this, where there was an element of anyone who subscribes, I'm going to donate $1 to a nonprofit that helps support girls and people who are, the word is escaping me right now, but words escaping me right now. But it helps women, like young women who find their voices and learn, and through writing, which is like, of course,
Oh,
like, this
that's
is
so
what I
perfect
do.
for
I
you.
love it. So
Yeah.
it's like teenage girls who are, they're finding community, they're finding their voice, they're finding their authority through this. I'm like, yes, we need more of that in the world. So I'm donating money for this. So it's a loss for me. I'm not
Yeah.
not
But
actually
I
making
think
money off of this directly.
that's quite smart because it's very good like brand alignment for you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's like a lovely part of that being charity. But I think it does also take that weird feeling we can have signing up for an event, being like, oh no, they're going to milk me for money right away.
Right.
It takes that sting out, be like, actually, I'm giving the money this time, or
Yeah.
I'm not asking for anything out of this. This is from a pure, as we said before, like connection, relationship building, motivation. So
Yeah.
I really like that.
And I pulled I think I'm going to pull the upgrade, the all access pass off of the summit. So this time it's just free and that's it. I honestly, it's not for me because my summit is like this, where it has been at least this deep thinking one. So it's not a massive, there aren't thousands of people coming through the door. There are sometimes close to, but not actually that level of number. And the people who upgrade, it never feels like it. I get that thing where it's like, it does feel like I'm milking people for money. It feels high pressure, even though I'm not. Like, I get it. Like, yes, it's a business. We need to make money, but it doesn't feel like enough to make me want to move like, it's not going to move the needle in some huge way. And it's like, I think honestly, what I really want is I want people to just consume it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what I want. I want people to hear it. I want people to connect with the people inside. I want people to connect with me. And then where I get to grow my business that feels good to me and is aligned with everything is I'm going to launch something on the tail end of this summit, and to a slightly larger list, to people who just consumed all this goodness. And
yeah, I'm such a big fan of separating out the events, the collaborations from the monetization. Like, let a launch be a launch, and let a collaboration be a collaboration.
Yes.
The two do not have to be the same.
They don't, but they can be too. I think that's the whole thing about thinking through your strategy, like taking that step back and going, why am I doing this? What's the goal? If you're not actually launching something at the end, like the first two summits I did, I shouldn't say that. The first one I did kind of throw together a little live class. It was fun. And I did launch that afterwards. The second one, I didn't launch anything. So the all access pass served as kind of the like, okay, we can make this worth our time a little bit. But now the way things are shifting, it doesn't feel aligned for where I want to go. Like, it is a mechanism in launching a new product. And then after that, I'm like, have a whole different thought process for the second half of the year, and how these big collaborative events, which I'm not going to let go of, they are going to take a slightly different kind of tone because I need them to do different things for the business now. And I'm going to tie them to the offers and the whole business model and sales in a different way that still feels good to me, but where they're connected thoughtfully. Like, this is here because of this.
Yeah. I love that. And that's the thing, again, coming back to what we started with like, why are we doing this in the first place?
Yeah, I think the worst, like, I learned this lesson in real life. Like, I was a political science and international studies undergrad and saw like senior year coming up and went, what the heck am I going to do with this? And it felt like the next natural step was go to law school. Isn't that what you're supposed to do when you're in political science? That's how you go work in like politics or government, or you have to be a lawyer. So like, literally did all the things, took the LSATs, applied to law school, went to law school, and a year in was like, yeah, this isn't for me. And it made me realize, like, if the only reason you have for doing something is it's the next natural step and there's no other reason, yeah, that's a bad move. Like, don't do it.
We can save you that pain.
Yes. And I feel like that's true in business too, where people just tell you like, oh, you want to grow your list? Host a bundle, host a summit. Well, okay, but does your list need to be that big? Why do you need to grow your list? What do you need them to do?
For like, what?
Yes. And to be quite honest with you, having hosted collaborative events like this, I get a little sneak peek into people's businesses because you should, if you're doing something like this, ask for people's list sizes or like audience size in whatever way you're asking them to promote, because you want to be able to see the metrics, right? Like, is this actually a good collaborator? Like, what was the percentage? How well did it convert? Gives you an idea of like where the leaks are and where the successes are. But in doing that, I also can see like people share their list size. So I'm like, oh, And it's really interesting because you can see like some people's businesses who you expect, like they seem to have these unbelievably robust businesses, and they do, but they have tiny little lists. And you're like, interesting. It doesn't take a huge list. And then you have people sometimes with massive lists, and it doesn't, like, they get no play off of it. Like nobody clicks, nobody converts. And you're like, did you send it? And they're like, yes, I did. But they have an unengaged list, at least for this. So it gives you this insight of the number of people on your list doesn't automatically mean you have a robust business. You really have to be asking what serves you and how is this move going to help your business in some way.
Yeah, no, 100%. Speaking of numbers, let's talk about your numbers. Like, I want to hear how it went. I want to hear how many people signed up, how many collaborators, how did it end up, even though I know we're in the middle, but like, catch me up on the numbers.
We ended up with 25 collaborators. The number of subscribers was way lower than I thought it was going to be. So, and it had nothing to do with the collaborators. And I haven't even actually at this time even given the debrief to the collaborators yet. I need to do that. Yeah. It was way so a typical bundle will have between 1% and 3% as a conversion rate. But I also came to realize that those numbers have dropped significantly in the last couple of years.
Wide.
Yeah. So that's going based on those older numbers. I shot myself in the foot because as soon as I got to like the number of combined lists I wanted, then I was like, oh, I don't have to go hunting for people. And like a couple more people did come in that I wanted in, but it wasn't like, we need 40 contributors. I was like, 25 is fine. We're good. And then, that number didn't actually come to be. So it was way less than I thought it was going to be. And I also realized not only industry-wide did that drop, and I just didn't have my finger on the pulse of bundles, unfortunately. But I also realized the positioning was not strong for a lot of people because, again, it was in this like ethereal space. So we were sitting in like where I had like what I talked about in the beginning, that it wasn't aimed at like we can solve a problem. So as I started to see the numbers come in even early on, like just the first couple of people who contributed, I was like, shoot, I think I dropped the ball on this. But it was kind of one of those things of like balls rolling downhill. So it is what it is. It's it's your learning moment. You run with it. I had hoped like the combined list, we should have been, if the 1% had worked out, we should have been around 1,000 subscribers. We only ended up with like 400.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that it is like, that was actually a little bit of the motivating factor of giving the tour inside, is that I want the people to actually connect. Like I want the contributors to walk away, even though I'm walking away with like, okay, lessons learned. And I'll be honest with the contributors. Honestly, when I debrief, I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to be like, we had 1,000 and sorry, you only got 3 people on your list. I don't know what's wrong with you. Like that sucks. So I will give an honest debrief. I'll say all of these things.
You're already saying publicly, so.
Yeah, it'll say all the things of like, this is where I made mistakes. I'm really sorry about that. And because I want to collaborate with these people in the future. Yeah. So I want to be really honest about this. I also am giving these tours inside because I really want it to be a real win for you. So I'm hoping that every person inside gets, 200 or 300 subscribers of just those 400, right? Yeah. So even though it's like, no, we didn't have 6,000 people come in. It was never aimed at that. And the positioning and messaging was just a little bit, off center. Lesson learned. I'll fix that next time. But I want it to be a huge win for everyone who took the time to contribute so that I'm fostering these relationships and these people walk away with like, damn, Laura, like that was a great experience. I got so much out of it. Not only did I get some people on my list and a decent number, but also like engaged people who are interested in working with me. And it was really fun working with you. Like that's the vibe that I want all of you to walk away with. Because again, it's not just about the list growth, even though sure, 6,000 people on my list, that would have been great. But
no, but I think you've got the right attitude. And like, as it's like any marketing effort, you can only control what you put into it. You cannot control the outcomes. So I think you're really smart here in saying, right, these are numbers we've got. What can we do with that? rather than just dwelling in it not being what you wanted. I think you're being really proactive about it, and I really admire that. I think that's the right approach to have, because you can't control it anymore. Like, it's happened, so like make the
Yeah.
best of it.
And I think there's an element too of embracing a little bit of agility and like,
Mm,
yes, once we're in the promo month and all the promo materials are out and the contributors signed up based on certain messaging. And
yeah,
so for me to pull the carpet out from under them midway just because I want higher numbers, that might not sit well with some of them and they
agreed.
might not no
Yeah.
longer feel aligned. So that doesn't feel good. So it becomes a thing of, okay, what can I do now?
Mhm.
And even not even a what can I do to make this better for me? Because at this point, I don't care. Like, sure, I could have started running ads or doing things like that, but that's not what was important to me. What was important to me was how can I serve the people inside and the contributors best at this point? And like the people inside, I'm already serving them. I know, like this is good stuff. I like
Mm,
actively put this together, thought it through, poured over every human being who is inside. So like I know they're getting really amazing things inside. So for them, it's really more about their customer experience inside
mm,
of this, like that I'm supporting them, I'm giving them the space when they need it, that kind of thing. But for you guys, that's the thing that is still like that's the one kind of like, I don't know, thorn in my craw. Like, how do I make this midway through where I see this is not doing what I wanted it to do or
mhm,
thought it might do? Okay, but how do I make it still a huge win for the people who contributed? Because for that, that's a long-term game.
mhm.
That's a like, these are real relationships with people that I would like to cultivate, foster, like just, build my community in this way. So yeah, so that's where the whole thing of like sitting on it and going, okay, so what can I do now that would
Mhm.
really help them see a boon? And it's like, okay, once the doors are closed, we're going to like treat this as like a huge, like, how do I basically launch all their stuff
Mm.
to these people in a way that's not overwhelming to the people inside?
Yeah. I think that really fits with your lovely theme of hospitality. Like,
Right.
you're really living out that value, which I love seeing it in action too.
Oh, thank you.
Well, having, we're not quite finished wrapping up, but having done this first bundle, other than the messaging, what would you take?
Mhm.
What would you change? What would you do differently next time you do a bundle?
I the basic structure of it, I'm entirely keeping. I would definitely, yes, the messaging and positioning needs to be much more sort towards like here's solutions to your actual like we can move the needle really for you
Mhm.
in this way and getting really specific there. Based on the trajectory of my business and where things are shifting because of the homeschooling, I would invite in more
Mm.
collaborators next time. I would make it bigger, but that's only like if I were on the previous trajectory of my business, I would keep it exactly the same and try and be a little bit more like I think that honestly, I really think the messaging would tighten it up a lot and we get more people inside. But I want like I and not I want, I need I'm playing the numbers game. So I need
Mhm.
bigger hits of growth in the list, but I also want like real people. So I don't necessarily need that hit of 6,000, but I would like that actual like 1,000 that I was reaching for
Mhm.
to actually come to fruition. So more contributors would be great, but still aligned, still thoughtful and tightening up that messaging. But outside of that, I think I would keep it largely the same other than, yeah, like the Asana thing, like
Yeah, project management, it's a whole thing. It really does make a big difference. It's something I hammer home all the time of like, please, like, help yourself.
well,
Have a
especially
plan.
because the way I did it was so, like, white gloved. So, like, I didn't
Mm,
send out big blast emails to the contributors. I sent individual emails
which was
every
lovely.
single time. Yeah, so your link was in there for where all of your I put it all in a Google Doc. So like what is your link so we can track? Here's like copy stuff. So doing that. But here's the thing. I also was supposed to in
Mm,
quotes, send a reminder email 2 days before your promo date. And then I was gonna send a like thank you email or a like if I didn't see any
mhm.
numbers go, a like, hey, did you forget to promo? Moment. But the catch is it was all in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And so having those dates, like those reminders, like it meant I had to go into the spreadsheet and like pour over the list of dates of like, what am I supposed to do today? So having that, like everything was really well organized except that one facet of like connected to dates.
Yeah.
So that little element I would put into some tracker that actually pops up in my face and goes, today you have to send an email to Michelle and Allison and this person, you know, and like, what is that email so that I could shoot it out into the world and make that part a little bit easier. So, but otherwise, actually, it was pretty dialed in. And I can thank Dallas for that. Dallas, I used her spreadsheet to make that happen because she's amazing. So why not?
I love it. Well, this has been super fun. I can't wait to see how the next bundle goes. Before we wrap up, I know you have a fun quiz for everyone if they want to kind of think a bit more about their marketing and stuff. So tell us more about that and where we can find you and where we can keep an eye on you for your summit and your next bundle coming up too.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, I'm at cheekycopy.co because somebody took com. So there's that. But it was one of those sad moments in life. But yeah, so I'm at cheekycopy.co. You can find like blog posts. You can sign up to get on the list in any number of ways over there. I'm also on the socials in that way too, pretty much almost everywhere. So there's that. But the quiz is, I'm really excited about this. I'm actually building it right now. So I can't give you a URL, but I'll get you one before
We'll put
this.
it in the
yes,
comments.
where it goes, but I can't say it out loud. But I'm really excited about it because what this quiz is it is going to help you diagnose where are these kind of leaks, if you will, in your marketing strategy. Like if you're coming at your marketing and you are thinking, man, I am overwhelmed, or ooh, I'm putting so much effort in and it's not quite leading to sales, or I'm doing this thing and it doesn't feel like it's working well. This quiz will help you start to figure out what might be the first place you might want to think about and land in that strategy to start knitting together this holistic strategy that ties it all together and makes it smooth and seamless all the way from coming in and in the right place, like you're reaching out for the right people to come in through the right door and walking them all the way to that sale if it serves them, of course, but in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, makes sense for them, and aligns with your actual business, your offers, who you are, how you want to work, all the things. So I'm really, really excited about this. And yeah, it's going to be so, like, it's already so good. It just needs to get polished and put out into the world and, you know, all the things in all the places.
I mean, it sounds lovely. I'm going to be taking it for sure. And I will
Yay.
definitely include the comments and show notes, whatever it's called, so that everyone can check that out. And I really encourage everyone to kind of follow along. I have been on your email list for ages, and you make, obviously, content really fun, but I think you also really have this very human approach to what you talk about that's really refreshing. I know I'm not the only person who's maybe a bit sick of all the automated AI approach to things, and I feel like you've got a lovely antidote to that. So
thank
sounds
you.
like a breath of fresh air. I encourage you to go check it out.
Thank you. It's funny because every once in a while, someone who has just met me, like a coach or something, will be like, well, you gotta not be a perfectionist. I'm like, oh, I am not a perfectionist. I go out messy. So
And I love it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I will be back next week with another marketing tip for you to get found without being on social media.